Okay, yapping time. And this is me trying to speak loudly because I'm the only one home right now, so I don't think I should be whispering, but I don't like public speaking ever, never have, and I speak really quietly. So test 1 2. I don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna be making coffee and talking a little bit because I don't even know if I'm gonna edit or post this. Maybe I will, just because. Maybe I won't, because I'll like come to my senses and realize I don't want to. But I just wanted to talk, and I have said this. Oh, I've had talks for the past few days with multiple people, just like expressing my thoughts, emotions, feelings. I'm just going through a thing at the moment, and it's like, candidly, it's been a thing of a moment for the past 2 years. It's just been more on my mind recently because of how I've been feeling the past week, I guess. And I don't know, it's been a rough week. And I kind of just felt like talking out my thoughts, and maybe it'll like help me process some stuff, but realistically speaking, I don't know. It's funny because I decided to do this, I guess, as like confrontation therapy for myself. I would say that I'm actually really hyper aware of my thoughts, and I have been for a long time, since I can remember. And a lot of it stems from anxiety that I've had since I was like the first memory I could have. I'm an extremely anxious individual. It's not fun, by the way. But I've also been extremely aware of this anxiety, and I've been aware of this anxiety for like my entire existence. Even thinking back to when I was in elementary school, every first day of school was like one of the worst days of my life. Even if it was the same school and the same people that I know in the same hallways that I've been in for like years and years and years, it didn't matter because I was constantly anxious about the first of this and the first of that, and things of being the first. It's kind of like, I guess, the fear of new things, but also like the genuine uncertainty that came with all of those things just combined, that made me so anxious because it felt like I am ill prepared for every situation all the time, no matter what is happening. It's hard to be like explaining this, I guess. It's very candidly truthful to myself to say that I have been struggling, and it's in the way where I think a lot of my friends have related in conversations we've had, where it's basically just a general struggle. Okay, there's not a good way to elaborate on that. Like, everyone is struggling and they have their own struggles, and there's a particular way about it. And mine currently, and what has been for a little while now, has been struggling to find joy in my life. And that's not to say like I don't have joy in my life. I love my family, I love my friends, I've loved the experiences I've been having of like doing silly side quests and like this and that. And part of the reason I've been vlogging is because I want to memorialize those silly side quests and silly moments that bring me so much joy into something creative, because it was brought up to me like, oh, why don't you do that? And I was like, oh yeah, this is something I could do. This is something that I would enjoy doing. Like, let me just do it. Because then it'll be like a fun little time capsule thing for myself, regardless of anything. Because even though I'm putting it publicly, I'm like not expecting people to be like, oh, this is it, I'm gonna watch this. No, like, this is like for me. This is my thing that I'm doing on the like as a little side project to try and memorialize and find the joy in my life. That being said, sometimes it feels really difficult to find joy in my life. I've been having a really rough week in my own like mental and emotional space, and it's not fun to like have that happen. It has its moments. Genuinely, like, I am not always constantly struggling to do the things that I want to do and see the people I want to see, but it has its like waves. And I'm getting really annoyed at myself for it, which isn't really fair. I think I just like have to verbally outwardly say it. Like I do a lot of writing my emotions down, whatever. Like I also do a lot of bottling it up and ignoring it for as long as I possibly can and hoping and praying that it goes away, and it doesn't do that. I don't know, this week specifically, I've just been overthinking way too much. And I already overthink a lot, honestly. I don't know where I was going with this. I just felt like yapping because I thought maybe if I verbalize my thoughts, it would help me process it better. But unfortunately, it doesn't tell me anything that I don't already know, you know? Like, I am so aware of all these facts so clearly that I can state them really easily and just know that this is it. But like changing that or like finding solutions is so much more difficult when I feel like I've been trying different solutions and none of them are like long term. I don't know. It's just hard to, I guess, say it so many times because I have been saying this here and there for kind of like 2 years now, and there's been clear like highs, like genuine ups and like positive things, and I cherish them genuinely. And then there have been like really bad lows that like haunt me and will never leave me and I can't escape. You know, what am I gonna do? Maybe my expectations of myself are higher than I thought they were, which sounds like I have a low self-esteem. Don't quote me on that. I just think my expectations are reasonable within my reach most of the time. I'm like a kind of pessimist, honestly, or a realist depending on the situation. Anyways, I don't know. It's just hard to say how I've thought about it, I guess. Where I'm not alone, and I'm very aware of that, but it's so lonely in my own head, I guess. Which, what am I to do with that information, right? So, yeah, basically, it's really hard to find the happiness in your life when the persisting sadness is the loneliness in your own head. And not to say that I am not finding that happiness. It's such a difficult conversation to have constantly, but it's one that I've found myself having multiple times with multiple people on multiple occasions for the past 2 years. And I think it's like one of those things where I hate myself for sounding like a broken record, you know? I think everyone I know is completely understanding of this, and they understand why and like why I'm saying this, where it's coming from, and this and that, and I appreciate them a lot for it. But at the same time, it just feels like it's piling onto my own guilt, and just like it's just frustrating for me. I think I am just frustrated, I guess, which I think is completely fair. It sounds like I'm just not giving myself enough credit or leniency to feel these things or do these things and like whatever, but it's more of just frustration I have, I guess, to myself and how I present myself. I don't really know how else to go about it, and it's just like one of those things where I feel really lost. Not to be like one of those public speaker TED Talks like, oh, this whole generation is like this, and like it's true, we've had like so many major things happen throughout our developing years in early childhood into our developing years as an early adult, and it's genuinely been an overall stressful and difficult thing to navigate for a lot of people, and I'm completely on board with like that understanding that it is so many things and so much all the time, constantly happening, rapidly changing, and it's like, how do you adapt to everything while still being expected to grow and learn? And that's completely like, it's not a broken record take, it's just the truth. I just think that when it's all those things and then my own personal stuff, it feels so all-encompassing. It feels world-ending sometimes, even though I know it's not, you know? Like, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow, the world's not gonna end, and I'm gonna be able to get myself out and do silly, goofy things with my silly, goofy friends and my family, and I will be happy and I will find joy. As cheesy as that sounds, I don't know. I think about it a lot, like the things I'm constantly chasing, I guess. Because I'm pretty stationary in so much of my things, like my life and like where I'm at. And I don't hate any of it. I just don't love when I'm not loving life, I guess. Sometimes you just like need to talk it out, even if it's to yourself. Maybe you don't need to do it into a camera and stare at your own reflection and be like, hey, wake up, this is what needs to be addressed. Don't do that. Don't do what I do. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I needed to talk. Sometimes I just be talking into the void, genuinely. Sometimes, all the times, most of the times. I'm not actively like one to be verbally talking to myself and like the whatever, but I'm in my head a lot. And I think right now, considering how this week has been and how my brain literally feels like it's gonna melt out of my head and just like out of my ears or whatever, I can't keep churning over these thoughts internally, and I need to like speak. Because another thing I've been told my whole life is I don't speak enough and I don't speak up enough about my own issues and things like that. And that's not wrong. I internalize a lot of things. I'm quiet about a lot of things, and I actually like, I'm not outwardly talking a lot often, honestly. Despite what some people might think and say about my MBTI and the stupid test that I had to take 3 times to prove it, I am rather introverted in a lot of aspects of my life. I am rather quiet a lot of the times. And unfortunately, part of that quietness also accumulates to being in my own head a lot of the times with my own thoughts, churning over everything I've ever done, and like, anxiety. I figured that, especially considering just how overwhelming and all-encompassing this week in particular has been, I decided, let me just give it a break and vocalize it in some manner, and maybe just like throwing it out there into the universe and into like the world will lighten the load a little bit for me and take a little bit of the weight off my own shoulders in a way that like I can maybe handle it better, and we compartmentalize and organize this. I think that like at the end of the day, you have a lot of control over your own life, even when it feels like you don't have any control ever, like, and it feels like you're just trapped. It's really hard to kind of get control back, for sure. And I'm still in the process of doing that, especially with myself, and making sure that I'm taking full autonomy of myself into doing the things that I want to do and want to pursue, and like all these things. I'm still working on it, and I'll probably keep working on it for as long as I live, because I'm just sometimes my own roadblock for things like that. I think I'm taking some good steps in the direction of being able to get there. At least maybe I'm delusional enough to believe that. And if being delusional helps push past it, you know, like, hey, I'll be a little more delusional for a little longer, and then I can go back to being realistic about things. I don't know. Yeah, that's all I got. And I just want to make coffee because I don't know what to eat. I should go figure that out now.